Hello, hello. Welcome to Travel Marketeering Live. I'm Joshua Harrell. Good to have you here live. Good to have you if you're catching the replay. And a special hello to everyone listening later on the audio podcast. On podcast platforms, the show is called Travel Marketeering with Joshua Harrell. Like that voice? That's I feel like I've got radio voice right now. Search that title wherever you listen and you'll find us. As I said earlier, my name is Joshua Harrell, Chief Revenue Officer at WorldVia Travel Network. I've worked in sales, marketing, and service delivery for consumer and business to business brands. I'm an author of several books on marketing and business. And I fancy myself a singer. So if a metaphor turns into a key change, just know I warned you. Now let's get into today's episode. Here's the truth today. Most new travel advisors are waiting for clients to magically appear and then wondering why the phone is not ringing. If that's you, you're not behind. You're just missing one small thing. A reason for the right person to raise their hand before they're ready to book. That one small thing is a lead magnet. And by the end of this hour, you're going to have one outlined that you can build and launch in 7 days. How's that? Before we dive in, 3 quick things. First, join Travel Marketeers private Facebook group. Search Travel Marketeers on Facebook and request to join, and the direct link is below. That is also where you can grab the worksheet that goes with today's show. It's pinned to the top of the group, so download it now and fill it in live with me. All right. Second, gotta hit my buttons. Subscribe to the WorldVia Travel Network YouTube channel and turn on notifications. There's Travel Marketeering Live. There's also Elevate Your Travel Agency with Laura DeVega and loads of other content there that I think you will find extremely helpful in your journey as a travel marketeer, travel advisor, agency owner. I'm just saying, we're ticking all the boxes around here. So definitely do that. And third, follow at Travel Marketeering and at Joshua Harrell on Instagram and TikTok. You never know what you might find. I'm just saying, you never know. At Travel Marketeering is a brand new handle that we've created just for our community. So that's brand new, but tune in. Love to have you check in with us there. All right. Last episode, we opened step 3 of the Thriving Travel Advisor Blueprint. You can grab your copy in the Facebook group right now if you haven't seen it. So this is the foundation of everything that we talk about with travel marketeering. We tried to distill this down into something that would be easy for you to figure out where you are in the blueprint, where you might need to reinforce some of those walls within your house, or where you might need some foundation. I don't know. That was a very odd metaphor there. But in our last episode, we talked about trip ready signals, the small hand raise moments that tell you someone is warming up to working with you. Today, we are building the simplest and most useful first signal, your first lead magnet. If you are new here, Travel Marketeers drop TM in the chat as a greeting, a little agreement, or just a joyful noise. So go ahead and drop a TM in the chat right now so I can see who's in the room. Little side note, if you are using your business account, always helpful to put your name in the comment before you leave it, because I do like to address you as you and not your business, but I will do that as well. So, quick self-assessment in the chat. Tell me, do you already have a free download that a real traveler could request today? Or are you starting from zero? Type have one or starting from zero, or a zero, big goose egg would be fine. So no judgment either way. While you're typing, let me set this up. A lead magnet is a simple, free download that solves one tiny, specific problem for one specific traveler. Not a 40-page ebook. I have been known to do that. Not your life story. I've also been known to do that. Not a brochure disguised as a helpful resource. Now, I haven't done that, but I do know plenty of people who have. It's one useful thing. When the right person downloads it, they've told you something. They're interested, they're planning, they're trip ready, and that is the signal. All right, I'm going to pop over to the chat and see what's going on over there. Ooh, there's a lot going on. Let's see. Jenny, TM to you, right back at you. Abby, hello. Tuning in from sunny, hot, and humid Miami, Florida. Love it. You notice how I said Florida there? I'm from South Florida, so I kind of get the accent, that non-accent. Let's see. Serena, good morning. TM from Arizona. Carrie, hello from Blue Ridge, Georgia. Good to see you. Christine, good morning, TM. Regina, hi, Joshua, TM. TM, right back to you, Regina. Anne Maria, TM from Erie, Pennsylvania. Oh, my goodness, good to see you. Emma, TM. Lynette, sorry. Ooh, you got me. I was reading your handle, but there you go. TM to you, Lynette. Good to see you. Regina, I think you're answering my question about do you have a lead magnet? And you said no. Angela, good morning from San Diego. Good to see you, Angela. Abby, starting from zero. Let's see, Regina, yes, starting from zero. Christine said, I am actually wrapping up my first one this morning, just tested it, and now need to post it. Oh my goodness, I don't have my Go Girl sound effect yet. So I'm just going to put fireworks on the screen here. Those of you listening, you just don't get to experience the fireworks there. So proud of you, Christine. Emma, 0. Jenny, 0. TM, Carol from New Jersey. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you. Cerise, have one. Want to improve. Oh, I love that. Continual state of improvement, right? I love it. I love it. Let's see. Christine said it's 7 pages, Oceans versus River Cruises Guide. Christine, if that is the title, let's work on that a little bit. Let's use some travel marketeering magic on that, okay? I need it to be a little more Christine. I don't know. Lynette said 2. So proud of you, Lynette. Fantastic. Cody, morning from North Dakota. Good to see you, Cody. Anne Marie, 0. Let's see. Carrie says, I've been working on a blog and then I was planning on taking that into an ebook. I always thought the lead magnet was an ebook, so I've been holding off to get it done. Oh my goodness, Carrie, sorry. You are in the right place today because essentially a downloadable is a downloadable, whether that's a much longer booklet, and that's where the ebook comes in. So you're thinking about it in the right way. I want to caution you guys from publishing something that's a novel. Okay, it doesn't need to be a novel at all. It doesn't need to be a novel. In fact, your first one could be a 1-pager. I'm serious. But what I love about what you said, Carrie, is that you've been working on a blog and turning that into an ebook. if you have a blog, you are adding to your website content. And that is a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. And I bet you have multiple downloadables that are going to be able to be created from that. So moving on in the chat here, Jill, TM to you. And Christine, thank you. You said, no, that's not the title. All right, Christine, I had a feeling you were more phenomenal than that, but it was questionable in that moment. So thank you for clarifying. I'm so happy. Dawn, good morning from Pittsburgh and a TM right back at you. Wow, 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 wow. So if you're starting from zero, good. We're going to build this clean today. If you already have one, even better. We're going to sharpen it so it does a better job of attracting the right person. Okay? So let's make this crisp. A lead magnet is not just a free PDF. It's a tiny promise. That was my tiny promise voice. It says to a specific traveler, I can help you solve this one problem before you ever get on a call with me. That is why specific beats pretty. If you sell Alaska Cruises, your download might be 5 questions to ask before you book your first Alaska cruise. If you focus on Portugal, it might be the 3-day Lisbon plan that leaves room for wine. If you have clients with accessible travel, it might be the pre-trip accessibility checklist most travelers wish they had earlier. If you plan national parks, road trips, it might be the 5-minute packing and timing check for your first Utah parks loop. See how each one lets the right person see themselves? That is the work. Specific is what makes it useful. Specific is what makes it searchable or discoverable. Specific is what makes someone say, oh, this is for me. Before you build anything, you have to pick the one traveler and the one problem. Here's where a lot of advisors wobble. They want the download to serve everybody. And I get it. I absolutely get it. You're thinking, if I make it broad, more people will want it. But broad almost always makes it invisible. A download for everyone who likes travel helps no one. I feel like that deserved a TM, and I'm just going to call for a TM on that one. A download for everyone who likes travel helps no one. A download for first-time Japan travelers who are nervous about the language barrier. That practically raises its little hand and waves right at the client, right? So ask yourself 3 questions. Who is this for? What trip are they thinking about? What they're thinking about. What is the one anxiety, confusion, or decision they need help with first? Right? I mean, this is your business. You know what they're thinking about. You know the most common question. I'm sure you've been on either in a discussion or a call with some potential client, and they said, well, I had to do my research on X before I reached out to you. No, you don't, because I am the expert, and I am now going to take that off of your plate. That is my job, right? I'm going to take that off your plate. So maybe it's a Caribbean, all inclusive for a couple's first kids free trip. Maybe it's an Iceland ring road itinerary for the adventurous. I've been to Iceland and I didn't do that. I need to go back. Maybe it's a river cruise for someone who wants Europe without the chaos. Maybe it's a Hawaii milestone trip, an anniversary, a big birthday, the trip they keep postponing. The narrower you go, the more the right person feels like you read their mind. I'm going to do some disco lights for that one. Oh, reading their mind. If anybody like tunes in and sees me with my little visual effects, I hope they enjoyed them. All right. So your turn. In the chat, give me your niche plus the one problem in this format. Okay. So here's the format. Patagonia trekkers, they don't know when to go. Okay. So I'll say that again because it did sound like I said truckers. So Patagonia trekkers, they don't know when to go. Okay. So that's the niche plus the one problem. Keep it tight. And I'll read some of them aloud. So, share your work. Share your work. Let's see that work. While those are coming in, notice the pattern. The best lead magnets start with a moment of friction, right? Not a destination, not a supplier, a moment where the traveler is stuck. They're stuck. When do we go? What do we pack? Which itinerary makes sense? How do we avoid wasting money? What do we need to know before we commit? Your lead magnet should answer one of those questions. One. That's plenty. One. It's plenty. All right. So let's pop over to the chat. See what's going on there. See what you guys have been able to pop in. All right. So far, only Angela is participating, but let's see. Angela said Alaska Cruises, multi-gen. They never know which cruise line they want. So I'm going to ask you, Angela, is it they never know which cruise line they want? Or it's that they don't know what type of cruise experiences they want, right? So it's not necessarily you navigate the brands, but they're multi-gen. They're thinking, well, I don't know what I don't know, right? About cruising with people from multiple generations, right? So I love that you said that, but I'm gonna push back on that one and say I don't think what they're looking for is the cruise line. It's for the types of experiences. All right, thank you guys. It looks like a bunch of you had jumped in. Regina on the Alaska cruises as well. So Alaska cruises. Why should I do a cruise tour? So that's their problem. Is why should I do a cruise tour the problem? Or is it, I don't know what to do in Alaska to really feel like I have experienced Alaska, what Alaska has to offer? Think about that one. All right. Carrie says, I have two niches. Alaska Cruises. Alaska Cruises is popular, guys. And I know some cruise lines that are very happy about that. I have two niches. Alaska Cruises, but I've been starting with group trips. Why is group travel better? I'm not sure which to do. All right. So, Carrie, I'm a little bit lost. I will admit when I'm a little bit lost. So you have two niches, Alaska Cruises, but I've been starting with group trips. Why is group travel better? So are you saying group travel is the other niche, or Alaska cruises and then Alaska cruises groups? So I need you to do a follow-up answer if you want me to respond to that. All right. Christine said, people who are thinking about a European cruise but don't know whether to go with an ocean cruise or a river cruise. They don't know which fits them better, and they are put off by the price tag of river cruises without understanding how to compare the cost of an ocean and a river cruise. Christine, I can already tell that you have done a lot of work on your ebook because you've mapped out a big story there. So, so I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to what I was saying earlier to, let's see, who was that? It was to Angela. So it's there, you do European cruises, right? The problem is, what's the best way to cruise Europe? That's essentially, when you're thinking about people who are searching, people who are discovering you, what is the hook? Now, through your downloadable, you can express your experience in both. And then you can guide them down the path of which one, maybe it's if this suits your needs, choose your own adventure. Here's this path. If this suits your needs, this is another path. By doing that, again, you're signaling you are the expert. You know. And through that, they might discover that they are a river cruise person all the way. Or they might decide, you know what? This round, I'm going to do a river cruise. My next vacation, I'm going to do an ocean cruise, because it's going to be two totally different experiences. So I can tell you've done the work there, Christine. Good work. And just, again, thinking about the problem. It's one problem that you're trying to solve attached to your niche. That right there is going to be the thing that hooks people in and gets them to say, hey, I want to talk to you. I'm raising my hand. I need a raised hand animation. If any of y'all are motion graphic editors, I would be open to you sending me a graphic of me raising my hand. All right, let's see here. Let's see what else we've got going on. Let's see. Jenny said, retirement travel, best weather for Patagonia for easy accessibility. So your niche, you're really niching down here, is not retirement travel, but it's retirement travel to Patagonia, right? And what's the best weather? I think weather is underrated. I swear. I feel like people do not think about the weather when they're thinking about places. All right, Tina, yoga instructors who don't take retreats but want to lead them. Okay, so yoga instructors, it's your target. Your niche is creating these yoga retreats. So your guide, your downloadable, could be the 10 things you should make sure you consider when building the content for a yoga retreat. That is a complete riff right there. It is not copyrighted. It is not fully stress tested, but think about how that's going to get your specific audience to raise their hand. Love it, love it, love it. Carol, a solo women's guide to camping safely. Love it. Michelle, multi-gen vacations, how it works. Okay, so Michelle, I'm going to say that's kind of broad, but it's also not, because multi-gen vacations, you're going to have to think about, that's not a common term. That's not common terminology. So you've got to think about a way to frame that up to where, grandma knows that she wants to travel with her children and her grandchildren and maybe even her great grandchildren. what do you need to know? What are some of the things that you need to think about? How do you get everybody on board with a plan, right? So that in that situation, I think there's quite a lot of, and I'm just going to go with the grandparents because they seem to be the ones that are, spending the money on this. But I think that you might be able to attract many people into your funnel that are those grandparents who want to build a calendar of travel over the next few years. So you could serve quite a few options there. Not my typical advice, right? My typical advice is be known for one thing and make sure that your offers kind of tie up, or what you're promoting tie up to it. But in this case, multi-gen is a niche, and you could have several different streams off of that. So love it, love it, love it. All right. I'm glad that you guys are participating in the chat, and there is a lot of chat, and I love it. So just to keep us moving along, notice how the specific ones immediately sound like a real download. That's the test. If the title makes a real traveler nod before you explain it, you're close. And that's exactly what Christine was saying when she responded. She was like, "No, that is not my title." But seriously, what you put down on paper, if a real traveler can understand it, they can nod and say, "Okay, I get it. This is something I want." You're close. You're really close. So now let's get into the part that you came for. All right. And I know it's me. You just want to see if I'm going to break out in song. And I don't know. It hasn't come to me yet. But how do you actually build this in a week without losing your mind? Okay. So here's the 7-day plan, and it's on your worksheet. Okay. So either you're following along with me right now, or you're listening and you're processing, maybe doing a little creative procrastination. I don't know. It could be you. Is that you? But follow along. Again, you've got it in the worksheet, and I highly suggest you download the worksheet so you can work through this. But go with me. See what you can dream up while we're talking together here. So here's the 7-day plan. So on day 1, pick the niche and the one problem. Okay. That's it. Do not build anything yet. I know some of you are thinking, but I will. I'm going to build this all this weekend. And do you know what? If you want to, I give you permission. But let's be honest. A lot of the things we talk about in travel marketing is, there are things that you can do right now, and I want you to be fired up. I want that fire in your belly. I want you to go and do the thing. But I know right after you leave me today, maybe you've got to go to work. Maybe you've got to go work on a proposal. Maybe you've got to go to a t-ball game. Maybe you've got to go to a wedding. I don't know, right? So I want to make this as seamless as possible. I want to make this something that feels like you can get this done without overcommitting to today, right? So day 2. So that was day 1. Day 2, write the title. Outcome plus specificity. So the 5-minute pre-trip checklist for your first national parks road trip. Okay. Write that title. Chef's kiss, right? Day 3, outline the actual content. So 5 to 7 points or steps. Okay. Keep it to 1 page if you can. That you can always go bigger later, but going bigger right now could make this become something bigger that you won't be able to get done this week. Okay. So day 4, write it. Plain language, your voice, no fluff. exactly like you would if you were talking to somebody live and in person. Make it sound like you, because that is key to all of your marketing, to all of your content. Don't pull a bait and switch. Be you, because you is exactly who they're going to work with. All right. So again, your voice, no fluff. Day 5, make it look decent. Okay. And I'm using that. I'm saying that specifically to some of you out there who are going to overcomplicate it, right? A simple Canva template is more than enough. A Word doc converted into a PDF works too. And I know this is going to blow your mind. A chat with AI will blow your mind by helping you create the whole thing. Just remember, clean beats fancy. Okay. Day 6, set up the form and the delivery so people can actually get it. Okay. Email service providers like WorldVia's Email Plus, which plug, a member of WorldVia Travel Network gets for free. Those email service providers make this extremely easy, but you'll find tools to capture email and deliver the product in most website builders as well. So what you're looking for is you're looking for a form that will capture the email address and then send a confirmation or send them to a page where they can click a link and download the PDF. It is important that it is a PDF that you're sending, okay? And it is very easy to create documents or save things as PDFs on pretty much any design tool or word program that you're writing program that you're using. Okay. PDF just means that everything is just controlled. It's going to look the way it looked when you created it. So that's why we use PDFs. But lead magnets are the best email list builders. You put up a pop-up on your website that says, download my 5-step da 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 da, is going to get people to give you their email address much faster than join my email list. Make sure you have that join my email list on your website. I'm just saying these lead magnets are the best email list builders. And on day 7, post it everywhere and tell people it exists. The build is worthless if nobody knows. Okay? That's the whole plan. 7 days, no mystery, no massive production, just one useful thing that starts a real relationship. Okay? Please. I need a TM in the chat right now if you feel like this is doable. Now, those of you who already had them in place, I know you already agree with me, but in these 7 days, can we do this? Okay. So gut check in the chat on a scale from 1, or where 1 is no way and 5 is I could totally do it this week. Where are you right now? I think that we can be a little more specific, right? So 1 is no way, and 5 is I could totally do this in a week. I don't want to see any 2, 3s, or 4s. I'm sorry. Just there's no in between. Either no way or I can do it this week. I don't want anybody in the middle there. So if you are a 1 or a 2, I want you to hear me. Okay. The answer is not to make the idea bigger. The answer is to make it smaller. Smaller is how you finish. Smaller is how you test. Smaller is how you learn what your audience actually wants. You can always build a bigger guide later. Today, we're trying to get you published, useful, and findable. That is the whole point. We want people to discover you. All right, I'm going to get off my soapbox and I'm going to go over to the chat right now. I got very aggressive there. Let's see here. Wow. You guys, what I love about, I'm going to pause for a second. What I love about our community is the support you give to each other, because I don't know about you, but what I can see is there are a lot of people in the same boat. A lot of people in the same situation. And it isn't until I get to see you guys talking to each other in the chat or on the Facebook community that I get to see that you guys can help each other. I mean, there is enough business for all of us. And it warms my heart. I'm going to, little squish moment. I'm going to cry a little bit. No, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. All right. Going to go to the chat. Let's see your numbers. 1 is no way. 5 is I'm going to do it this week. Angela comes in with a 4. I'm not going to give you grief on that one. Regina said right in the middle. Regina said a 3. Serena, 5. Yes. You go, girl. I don't have my British accent sound effect, but I'm going to give it to you. Let's see. Dawn, 5. Anne-Marie, 5. Christine, 5. Jenny's like, I'm going to come in right there in the middle. No judgment. 3 there. Michelle, 5. Cerise, yes way. You know what, Cerise? I just want to take a moment because I went to high school with a girl named Cerise, and I thought she had the most beautiful name. And I have not thought about her in donkey's years. So, love your name. Carrie said, I can do it this week. Can you expand further on how to make it actually downloadable? I can create and save it as a PDF, and I know how to send it as an email. Okay. So, Carrie, yes, I can explain it, but I need quite a few details from you, right? So if you have an email service provider where you send broadcast emails, right? You have a form where people can subscribe to your email list. So you create one of those forms and you set it up as, download my guide, blah, 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 right? And in that form, you have it set up to where it sends a confirmation email. I'm sure you've gotten these many, many times. And the confirmation email, that's where you include a link, store it on as an uneditable document on a Google Drive or a OneDrive, whatever you have access to, right? So there's a link that they are clicking on, and then they get to download your document. What makes that great is you can always replace that, or you can update that link at any time. You can upload that or refresh that document. But that makes it something that they can't download it until they've given you information and then that email has fired. Now, in some cases, you can set up those forms to, once someone hits submit, so that information is being transmitted to you, then they can be sent to a page on your website, which is hidden. It's not linked anywhere within the website. So when they get to that page, there you have, click here to download your guide, right? And that is, again, you can put the hyperlink to the actual download file there. So that is one way, and that is a very vague way to describe it. If you you can always email me, joshua@worldvia.com. I will be honest with you. It takes me a little while to get to my emails, but if you can give me some more details on what it is that you're looking at or what it is that you use, then I can probably get you there a little faster. And I'd say that for anybody, if you've got very specifics, if this isn't something you're sure how to set up within your website, go to let's start a thread in the Facebook group, and then either I either me or my team or some of you can help each other out there, because everybody's got a little different situation in the tools that they use. If our members are using Email Plus as their email broadcast tool, that's a very, very easy system to set up, and one that I've seen very, very successful for our advisors. But there's also MailChimp. There's different email providers, and I do like tying them to your email list, because obviously that's how you're building your email list. But you can also just tie it to a form within your website. Most website builders have that ability to create a form and then have an email confirmation, or send them to a page in the site where you've got that linked up. But very, very good question. All right, so going to come back to the chat real quick. And I think this is what Regina's referring to too. I need to figure out the tech. Michelle's got a good one here. My issue is, then what? How do I keep giving them value? I'm looking beyond my freebies. Okay. So I love, let's see. I love that you're thinking like this, right? What do I do beyond the freebies? And Michelle, it's always going to come back to, are you sending a regular newsletter where you're constantly adding the value? Are you creating social content that's constantly adding value? And it's something that you have to do. You have to show up consistently, right? But the value isn't always about the freebies. This lead magnet is how they become known to you. It's now what you do with that audience, right? And that audience gives you power. That audience is really your business. So I love that you're saying, how do I keep giving them value? And believe me, we're going to keep talking about that. We're going to keep talking about that every time we get together as travel marketeers. How do we keep giving them value? And it's not going to be different for everybody. It's going to appear different for everyone, or there'll be some similarities. But the real thing there is, you even thinking like that, you even thinking about that, that tells me that your mind is in the right frame. Okay. So I'm not going to answer that right now, because I'm going to say we're going to keep on talking about it. But it is newsletters. It is showing up with webinars that are adding value. It is sending them offers that are relevant. If your downloadable is about trekking through Patagonia, then are you sending them emails about the top restaurants in Miami, right? You're getting them to raise their hand and identifying themselves to you. Now, make sure you follow through with them, right? You follow through with that information. So I'm going to keep on flowing, because I don't want to get too behind, but I see there are a lot of good questions. So I'm going to come back to this. But for those of you kind of in the numbers of it, where 1 was no way, 5 was I could do it in the next 7 days. For the ones who feel like a 2, let this lower the bar in the best way. You do not need a masterpiece. You need one helpful page that gives one right fit traveler a reason to take one step. So don't think about the bigger picture about a booking, right? Think about just the one step to give you their email address, you deliver the content, and then from there, as Michelle was alluding to, deliver value. All right. So let me save you some pain here. There are four traps I see over and over again. Okay. Mistake one is making it too big. Okay. Nobody downloads a 30-page guide. And if they do, nobody reads it. All right. One useful page beats a book every time. Okay. And the title is the key, right? The title is the key here. What is it that that person is looking for, right? What is the problem that they're trying to solve? So mistake two is being too broad. Top 100 travel tips signals nothing. It sounds like I want 100 things. I want to hear your 100 ideas, but it does not. It's not really anyone raising their hand to say, "Hey, I want to travel, right? And I want to do this type of travel." So, what to pack for a Patagonia trek in shoulder season signals a buyer. That is so specific. Okay. Mistake three is hiding it. Your download should be linked in your bio, in your posts, in your email signature, in your newsletter. So they're already in your newsletter, right? But get that in front of them too, because maybe they got to your newsletter some other way. And it should be wherever your people already find you. If you make a video like this, say, well, hey, look what I did. I said, if you haven't gotten the Thriving Travel Advisor Blueprint, go download it in the Facebook group, right? I mean, it's the same thing, right? So that Thriving Travel Advisor Blueprint, we launched back in December because we knew this whole year was going to be about filling in the gaps. But that one piece of content is being downloaded hundreds of times a day. That's a beautiful thing. That's a movement. I feel kind of proud of that movement. So visibility is the whole point of step 3 of that blueprint. And then mistake 4, and you're gonna not believe me. The download is the start of the conversation, not the end. So Michelle, don't worry. We'll get deeper into what happens after the signal in a future episode. But for now, remember this. If someone downloads your guide, they just raised their hand. So don't leave them standing there waving. What about me? I was going to break out into song, and those of you who know what song it would have been, like, you get 2 extra points. I don't know, but don't leave them. They're just waving. You've got to do something with it. Okay. So, okay. This is the quick win. Right now, together, we're outlining your first lead magnet. So grab the worksheet if you haven't. It is pinned. It's a pinned post in the Travel Marketeers private Facebook group. You just search Travel Marketeers for the Facebook group. There's a Travel Marketeering Facebook page, but you want the Travel Marketeers Facebook group. Okay. So go download it there. Any of the downloads for any of our Travel Marketeering live shows, you can find them there. Okay. So in that worksheet, box 1 is your niche and traveler. All right. So if you're doing this, if you're doing this in the car, just think about this. Or if you've got the worksheet, you can fill it in, right? Box 1, your niche and traveler, just one sentence. Okay. Box 2, the one problem. Again, one sentence. Okay. Box 3, your title, outcome plus specific. Okay. So You got to think about the outcomes here, and you've got to be specific. And then box 4, your 5 to 7 content points. And this, I when people tell me that they are struggling writing, I it, you know just talk out loud. Just talk out loud. Use voice memo on your phone. Just put some bullets, just things, what comes to mind at first. I do this all the time. And then I go back and I say, well, that was stupid. That was dumb. Why did I do that? That was dumb. And you know what? Why did I put that when this, right? And then all of a sudden, here comes my 5 to 7 content points, and I feel really good. That is your outline. That is the thing you build this week. And then pro tip, work with AI. This is a phrase that I like to use all the time. People say use AI. I like to say work with AI. And the reason why I say that is when you work with AI like you're working with a teammate, the outcomes are vastly different. Vastly different. I've been working with a team member of mine who's in marketing. She is brilliant, but she's been crafting emails and they're not getting the results she's looking for, right? So on the surface, you'd be like, that's a beautiful email. But then you dig a little deeper and you're like, that subject line is a little weak. Da, da, da. So you can kind of nitpick it, right? So she and I sat down and I said, let's be vulnerable here. Let's take the email you sent and the data from that email. I said, let's put this into AI. We were using Perplexity at the time. And I said, let's just have a conversation. Let's be really honest. Let's say we've been sending emails like this and it's not getting the registrations that we're looking for. Overall, it's not getting opened. There's hardly any clicks, 0 registrations for this particular event, right? And we need to take this next email, and we uploaded the copy for that email. And we said, we need this to be much more compelling. We need this to drive registrations. And just having that dialogue with it allowed it to produce something so beautiful. Not the final, it actually did write the copy for the email so we could tweak it. But what it did was it provided analysis as to why the other email had not been working. And it was so spot on. It uncovered things that we both noticed together before we did this, but it also gave some things that we hadn't even considered. It also gave the reason why. So we were learning for the future, right? And ultimately, it recrafted the email that we created and gave us the whys. Why did it make these decisions? That was so powerful. So, pro tip here is work with AI. Tell it you are a travel advisor building a lead magnet. Drop your work into it and ask it to help you build a compelling lead magnet that attracts your ideal clients. It might come back and ask you, well, who are your ideal clients? Like you want it to have that dialogue with you because that's how it's going to get really, really good, right? You'll be amazed at the outputs when you start having those conversations with AI and stop using it like Google. All right. Before we go, I want to hear this from you. Drop your, if you've been mulling over, drop your working title in the chat right now. It does not have to be perfect. Just get it down. While you're typing, remember the formula: specific traveler, specific trip, specific moment of friction, right? A specific promise. If your title has all 4, you are probably close. All right, I'm going to pop over to the chat. And I know there's a lot of chat because it makes a little sound effect on my end here. So let's look for some titles here. Oh my goodness. Oh, see, you guys are talking about a lot of different things here. Oh, and look, everybody is helping out here. I love seeing that. All right, so I'm not seeing any titles, but I'm seeing a lot of of good conversation, and this is the kind of conversation you can bring over to the private Facebook group. But Christine is adding here, dreaming of Europe by water, find your perfect cruise, free guide inside. I love it, Christine. I love it. Rocky, you don't have to say sorry for clogging up the chat box. I'm glad that you were there, because when it comes down to the working the technical aspect of create putting these downloadables up there and getting them downloadable, that's a deeper conversation and one I couldn't get into here. So, but I can in the Facebook group, and Rocky is a rock star. So thank you, Rocky, for being in the chat. Do not apologize. Serena said intimate Rhineland and river cruises. All right. I need you to go back to those four things, Serena. I like where you're going, but remember the formula: specific traveler, specific trip, you got that, specific moment of friction, and a specific promise. So I want you to work on that just a little bit more, but I'm proud of you. And Christine said, that was all Claude. So Claude, if you're not familiar with it, is a phenomenal AI tool. And Christine is saying, you know what? I did work with AI. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So let's land the plane. Number one, a lead magnet is one simple download that solves one tiny problem for one specific traveler. Number two, when someone downloads it, that is a trip ready signal from the Thriving Travel Advisor Blueprint, right? Number three, broad sounds safe, but specific is what gets action. Number four, you can build the first version in 7 days if you keep it small. Number five, the download is not the end. It is the beginning of the relationship. And once you have one, you can always build more. Hint, wink, wink, hint, hint. Yeah. So grab the worksheet from the pin post in the Travel Marketeers private Facebook group. You can also grab your copy of the Thriving Travel Advisor Blueprint there. Facebook.com/groups/Travel Marketeers, all one word. Follow Travel Marketeering or at Travel Marketeering and at Joshua Harrell on Instagram and TikTok. Subscribe to the WorldVia Travel Network YouTube channel and turn on those notifications. And we'll continue the booking pathway conversation next time. So make sure you're subscribed and you'll catch the next step. So I'm Joshua Harrell. This has been Travel Marketeering Live. Go build your first lead magnet. I'll see you real soon, Travel Marketeers. TM.